Hello and welcome to this masterclass on email marketing. First and foremost, I want to welcome the Blazers to this particular call. Yes, we have our private clients called the Blazers. We also have a couple people that have signed up for our training program, 16 VIPs in the last couple of days or the last couple of weeks. I want to welcome you to this call as well specifically and highlight you because several times a month, indeed most weeks, we have a private group mentoring call. Happens at this time, same bat place, same bat channel. And then once a month, we have an open day where we invite some friends along and we open it up to the broader publics. And that's what we are doing today. So it's a big picture lesson and we're going to start very high and then we're going to drill down. So firstly, I will welcome my Blazers and my 16 VIPers and my other private clients. The second people that I want to welcome are all the new people to our world. If you're brand new to our world, give me a holler, give me a shout out. I want to know who you are because you're obviously here for a reason and I want to congratulate you. You've decided to work on your business rather than in your business. So good on you for being here today. I want to kick things off with a question. And I really want to make sure that the chat tool is working. And I really want to make sure that you are participating to the best of your ability. Here is a simple question. What comes first in B2B sales and marketing? Leads or clients? I want to hear from you guys and gals. Just write one of those words using the chat tool on the screen right now. Do your best to write it to everyone. So you can leave a message for hosts and panelists and only I will see it. But if you leave a message for everyone like David has done and Laurie has done, and Joseph has just learned how to do, everyone else can see it. Ben, you need to switch that up and make it so that everyone can see it. What comes first? Leads versus clients. It is really important that you participate. This might seem like a silly question, and in a way it is. But when you participate, you turn on the active part of your brain that is going to make you begin to think about how you can apply these strategies to your own business. This is not an episode of The Bachelor where you can kick back and eat your popcorn. This is not a passive experience. This is an active experience. And the more you put in, the more you'll get out of this experience. And also, everybody else gets to see your comments and they get value from it as well. So I wrote, what comes first? Leads versus clients. It wasn't really a trick question. It's not really a chicken and egg question. The answer in most situations is going to be leads. Sure, when you start out, you might get a referral from somebody else, and that referral might lead to a client relationship. And from that client relationship, you might get another referral. But as the business grows, most of your new client relationships are going to start where the person is a stranger. They slip into your world as a potential client, as a lead, and it's your job, your responsibility to take them on a little journey from a lead to a client. Yes, indeed, this is the bigger picture. This is the holy grail of B2B sales and marketing. And as you can see, the image on the left looks a little bit like a holy grail. And that is because if you're in the B2B space, or indeed, if you're selling a complex product or service, maybe it's your knowledge you're selling, your expertise, your skills, the reality is that almost every relationship is going to start and look like this. So you are going to attract an opportunity. Then you're going to pre-qualify that lead. Then if it's the right fit, you're hopefully going to book an appointment. After you book an appointment, you're going to want to elevate anticipation for that meeting. So they jump on the call and they're all excited. After they jump on the call and they're all excited, you host that meeting and you do your best to deliver value, transfer your certainty to that person so that they can make an informed decision. And if you get a tentative yes, if you get a firm yes, you can skip the next step. But if you get a tentative yes, you might do a little bit of follow-up. And then at the end of that follow-up, you indeed close. Is that where sales and marketing ends? Attract an opportunity, pre-qualify that lead, book an appointment, elevate anticipation, host a meeting, follow up, and then close. Is that where sales and marketing ends? No, because you need to get your new clients and you need to take them to a place that we call first win. When you get someone to first win, you deliver a little bit of value. They go, yeah, they pump the sky with their fist metaphorically. And they go, this person is actually, they know what it is that they're doing. A lot of people think sales and marketing ends with the close. No, it ends when your clients get first value. And that's when all that buyer's remorse or post-purchase dissonance or those little seeds of doubt just evaporate into the sky. And that client is yours for now, for the midterm, the long term, perhaps forevermore. So as you might have noticed, that indeed looks like a funnel. And it is a funnel. You start off with more people at the top and you end up with less people at the bottom. And indeed, the simplest way to break down this funnel, we find, is to use these three little acronyms: TOFU, MOFU, and BOFU. TOFU stands for top of the funnel, where you attract that lead. MOFU stands for the middle of the funnel, where you book appointments, elevate anticipation. BOFU is the bottom of the funnel, where you do the follow-up, you close, and you onboard. All right, guys and gals, have you been paying attention? If you are, I've got a question for you. Where does email marketing fit into this? Does email marketing fit in at the TOFU stage, the MOFU stage, or the BOFU stage? And I want you to participate. I want you to type TOFU, MOFU, or BOFU. Anne-Marie's left a comment that only I can see, and my other panelist, John, can see, because it is a slight trick question. But however, I want you to provide one answer. Where is email marketing relevant? Why don't I reframe it and say, where is email marketing most important? Walter, you just left that comment for only me. If you want to leave a comment that everyone can see, use the drop down and choose everyone. Let's have a look at this. I said, what is the most important? And straight out the gate came Joseph. Well done, Joseph. Hey, Johnny, we need to get Joseph a prize for being proactive. All right, Joseph, you get a prize for being proactive. He said TOFU, right? Laurie also said TOFU. And then I started to see some other people say, oh, every stage. Well, it says TOFU, MOFU, BOFU. He said that to just us quietly. Every stage. That is correct. It was indeed a trick question. Email marketing happens at every stage. We need to use email marketing to build trust and rapport. We need to use email marketing to book those meetings, to elevate anticipation before those meetings. We use email marketing to follow up, to bring someone across the line, to onboard. These are all situations where we use email marketing. But once again, I asked you where email marketing fits in. And then I reframed it as, where do you think email marketing is most important? And I do want you to answer the question, TOFU, MOFU, BOFU, where it's most important, because this is going to reveal a little bit of an insight about you. If you think it's most important at the TOFU stage, write TOFU. If you think it's the most important at the MOFU stage, write MOFU. If you think it's most important at the BOFU stage, write BOFU. And the reason why is that when you type down what you think is the most important stage, that is probably where you should be focusing your time and attention right now. There are so many different ways to use our valuable time and attention when we're running a business. And one of the most important and powerful things that I can give you is focus. So write down TOFU, MOFU, or BOFU. Now, as you may have guessed, when we're talking about email marketing, it covers a lot of different things, a lot of different scenarios. On the screen right now, you can see our B2B growth engine. And over the many, many years that we've been serving B2B business owners, we've discovered that there are three massive levers that you can pull. And depending on where you are in the evolution of your business, will influence where you should be focusing your attention. So for example, selling. Some people are lousy at sales. They don't have a clear offer. So they struggle to articulate what it is that they can do, how they can do it better than everybody else. Or maybe they don't have an offer that can be easily packaged up and sold. Or maybe they just struggle to talk to strangers or prospects. Maybe that's the problem that they're facing. That is one area that if you pull that lever, cool things can happen. Marketing is another. Marketing is mostly about top of the funnel. That's where you get the leads into your world. You bring them in, you build trust, you build rapport. And then, of course, we have scale. And scale is where you progressively begin to remove yourself from the business, so most elements of the business can work on autopilot. Where does email marketing fit in? Once again, it fits in at marketing when you want to build the trust, at sales when you want to take the person to the next level, at scale when you want to run a really efficient, high-performing, humming business. That there is our B2B growth engine. And if you're brand new to our world, these are the sorts of things that we cover in the B2B school, specifically as they relate to B2B business owners. If you've been part of our world for some time, you probably know that already. However, it's always useful that I am able to remind you that that's why we have our preloaded calendar. It's why we have our different courses. And if you're already part of our world, maybe you're a B2B blazer, maybe you've recently signed up for 16 VIPs or one of our other programs, I just want to remind you that we have some pretty cool stuff coming up in the not too distant future. We have a boot camp that's coming up, our Buildathon. We have our Buildathon boot camp that's coming up in the not too distant future in September, where we build the technology together. We also have a sales accelerator coming up. So I might put this in. There's the build boot camp, the Buildathon that we've got coming up to help you build out your technology. We've got a sales accelerator, which is all about your sales skills. And not on this preloaded calendar, we're also pulling together a lead generation challenge about generating leads. A little bit later, I will introduce you guys and gals to something called our Blazer program. For people that are already part of our world, you might be familiar with that. Maybe you're 16 VIPs. And if you are a member of 16 VIPs and you're interested in becoming a Blazer, our mid-month deadline expires today, in my world, the 17th of August. Cool. With that little bit of housekeeping and big picture introduction out of the way, and I've already got you thinking, I hope, thinking about how email marketing fits into the broader context, giving you a little bit more focus where you want to focus your time and attention. This is really awesome. Here's my next question. Guys and girls, what is the hardest thing about email marketing for B2B in your world? What do you think is the hardest thing about email marketing for B2B in your world? I just want to hear from you guys and girls. Once again, it really pays to participate. If you know what your challenges are or your struggles are, if you know where the roadblocks are, where the brick walls are, it becomes so much easier to figure out ways to navigate those brick walls or build little ladders to climb up over them. So Mark said headline. So that there is often what to put in to your email, coming up with ideas, writing good copy. Laurie says attracting the right people. I'm really glad that you said that. That there is way up there in the list of priorities. So cool. Peter says email content creation. So once again, that's what to put in it. Cree says keeping it succinct. Peter says qualifying. Again, that's the right people. Will says testing and measuring. Subject lines, that's really cool. I'm glad that you are talking about the little stuff, subject lines. But however, I don't want you to forget the big stuff, because we do get caught up in sometimes the minutiae of the different things that we're doing. And ultimately, as a result, we neglect the bigger picture. We get obsessed by the little things. And that is indeed a recipe for disaster. Now, if you have not yet participated, as I said, there are a couple different reasons for participating. One, when you participate, you turn on the active part of your brain. Boom. Second, when you participate, you're more likely to reinforce the lesson in your own head. If you reinforce the lesson, you're more likely to remember it. If you remember the lesson, you're more likely to execute on the lesson. If you execute on that lesson, you're more likely to create momentum. And if you can create momentum, momentum creates more momentum and you get some results. As I said, this is not an episode of The Bachelor where I want you kicking back and eating popcorn. But I'm even going to reward you for participating. I'm going to give you a participation bonus. So all you need to do is participate right now. You can write anything. You could write yabba dabba doo. You could write, hey, James. You could write, nice hat. You could write R2D2. Or is that C3PO? I don't know. All you need to do is contribute in some way, to participate in some way, and you will unlock our inbound marketing reloaded report, 5 ways to give new life to old and obsolete inbound email marketing tactics. And maybe you might just get results like Naomi here. I've more than doubled my rates. My bookings have gone up and I now have better fit clients who value my services and expertise more and more. I now have an actual waiting list. Why did she have an actual waiting list? Because she embraced our inbound marketing reloaded philosophies. And one of those philosophies is about building your list, attracting the right people, and taking them on a journey. I'm seeing a couple emojis. Yeah, Ethel. Woo, I don't know if I can do that one. I definitely can't do that one. Peter's given us a picture of a frog. And do you know why he's giving us a picture of a frog? Because the chat field is going off like a frog in a sock. Yeah. All right. So once again, if you haven't had the chance, What's the hardest thing about email marketing for B2B? Tap that one out. All right. So when it comes to email marketing and I talk about the hardest things, these are the top three. These are the top three that come up again and again and again. I don't want to come across as annoying. All right. I'm going to make this super easy for the people that have not yet used the chat tool. I don't want to come across as annoying. This is super easy. Tell me what type of meat you can see on the screen right now. Now, I haven't seen, I don't know, let's have a look at some of the names here. Anita, have you left a comment? Anne-Marie, I'm not sure that Diane has. JD, good to see a familiar name. Marty, if you haven't left a comment, please do. Jim's just written spam, 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 spam. I don't want to come across as being spammy. Now, this relates to a big word, F-E-A-R. I've just written, it's faded out in the little background a little bit, the word fear. According to my mum, fear is an acronym and it stands for false evidence appearing real. I don't want to come across as annoying or spammy. The second big headache or challenge that comes up, and I saw some comments reflecting this one just a moment ago. I really struggle to come up with ideas. I struggle to come up with the content. I struggle to come up with the headlines. Email marketing sounds like hard work. Now, when people say to me, it sounds like hard work, it usually comes down to this idea that they're lacking ideas. If they don't have ideas, it's usually they don't know where to start. They don't know where to start because they don't have a framework. When somebody gives you a structure, a framework, or a recipe, suddenly it's easy to come up with ideas. It's easy to know where to start. And suddenly it doesn't feel so much like hard work. That is another fear in its own way. We fear that it's going to be hard work. We get into it and we discover that it's not so hard at all, particularly if we have a framework. The third big roadblock or headache, the third piece that people say, it's so hard, is I have no leads to send in the first place. I really struggle to capture those leads. So indeed, why should I bother? I have no leads to send in the first place. And of course, this is a picture of an empty road with a tumbleweed. And it's really tough to be putting your effort and attention into writing emails when your list is small. And then you send it out and you get crickets, cheep, 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 cheep. And then a coyote howls in the distance. Right? I have no leads to send to in the first place. Well, I got a question for you. And once again, I want you to use the chat tool and I want you to answer this question in 1 or 2 words. How would it feel? How would it feel if you were attracting leads, if you were building out your own list? And importantly, if those people coming into your list were the right people, that were pre-qualified people, how would that feel? How would it feel if not only you had a good idea about what to put into your emails, but when to send them and what frequency to send them in, so that you enter this process with confidence and not anxiety about what am I going to do today? What if you had the confidence to send emails in such a way where you were consistent in the process because you knew that you were getting positive replies? You were getting people saying, wow, this is so great. I'm so happy. I'm so engaged. We're taking email from a place where you are terrified of coming across as annoying, where you're enthusiastic about it because you know that you're doing it in a way which is going to delight people. How is that going to make you feel? Laurie says energized and excited. Anne-Marie says buoyant and energized, relaxed, confident, awesome, encouraging. Sounds very good, says Raywin. Give buckets of value, says Peter. Yeah, absolutely. Now, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, most weeks, in most weeks of the month, we host a private group mentoring call, and we host these for our private clients. People have recently signed up for one of our programs like 16 VIPs, or maybe they're a Blazer. And we usually have a focus lesson, and we put someone in the hot seat, and we talk about our wins, and we do some cool stuff. And before those weekly calls, which normally happen at this exact time, I send out a little bit of an email which says, complete this pre-training checklist. And it just gives us an idea about where our people are at, what they're doing, what they're struggling with, where their heads are at. And earlier on this year, one of our people, a woman called Louise, who's on the call right now, we said, have you had any wins this week. And she said, I finally feel like I have decision clarity. Decision clarity. And I saw her wrote that and I thought, that is brilliant. Out of all the things that we do and that we offer in the B2B school, I believe that this is the most important. A little bit earlier, I used the word focus. If I can give you focus, that's amazing. Because if I give you focus, you know where you need to focus your attention. Then if I can give you focus, we can start to share some of our frameworks with you. When we give our frameworks to you, you can get this wonderful thing called decision clarity. Because there's nothing more confidence building and energizing and a way to make you feel buoyant and encouraged is when you start the day, you start the week, you start the month, knowing exactly what it is that you need to do and where you should be focusing your attention. So that's what we're going to do right now. We are going to focus our attention on one area of marketing, but as we get a little bit deeper into this, you're probably going to get a little bit more focus again, and you're going to make some decisions about you and your business. We're going to focus on 3 big fat outcomes. Build, attracting, converting the right people. We want to build our list. And I'm going to share with you the 3 non-negotiable ingredients for building a list. Even if you don't have a massive ad budget, even if, I don't know, even if technology makes you a little bit freaked out. Number 2, manage, build, manage. How to manage your emails, build trust and delight consistently. And I'm going to share the 5 automated trigger sequences that we use in our business that make our lives so much easier. And the number 3, monetize. Monetize is when you take things to the next level. That's when you really begin to own your space. You position yourself as the prize. And that is when I'll be talking about email marketing beyond email. So this is a framework: build, manage, monetize. And we have a focus. We want to attract the right people. We want to do this consistently, create a consistent experience. And we want to help you own your space. Sound cool? For me, I have a mixed relationship with email. I'm sure we all have a mixed relationship with email. And the reason for that is that my first big business was actually a print magazine made of paper and ink. Any Ethcal magazine fans on the line? This was, it's almost 20 years ago now, when I launched Australia's first magazine for innovators, entrepreneurs, startups, a business magazine made of paper and ink. And I launched that from the spare bedroom of my parents' home, and I funded it using credit cards and personal savings. And it grew. It went really well. I was named Best Small Publisher in Australia twice in my 20s. I think we won Magazine Launch of the Year. A really exciting time. One thing that people don't often realize or understand about magazines is it's a 3-tier business model. You need to be able to sell advertising, which is really important. That's like a complex sale. You need to be able to sell magazines on the stand. That's called merchandising. And you need to also sell magazines via subscription. And that there was largely by direct mail. And direct mail is when you send a letter in the mail. So for me, I come from this old school background where I was building a business, very analog, made of paper and ink, as I said, very old school. And we would put magazines in newsagents, we would sell advertising packages, and we would get subscribers by running direct mail campaigns. Now, the wonderful thing about direct mail is that it's highly, highly measurable. So while I have and had this mixed relationship with email, I used to love direct mail. I used to love sending letters to people, snail mail, and it was because it was so incredibly measurable. The other interesting thing about direct mail is that direct mail was indeed the precursor to email marketing. Indeed, a lot of the online strategies that we know and love and use all came from the direct mail marketing days. And that is because advertising was not measurable, but direct mail was measurable. So there's lots of books written about it. If you're ever in an old opportunity shop, a secondhand bookshop, and you see any books on direct mail, buy them. They're all about how to send letters, but the tactics are gold. One big lesson that I learned around that time is the importance of systems. Yes, guys and girls, you might want to write this down. Systems equal sanity. So of course, that was my first big business. Ethcal still is alive in a 100% online form. And I was dragged from the print age to the digital age. I was dragged kicking and screaming as the reformed technophobe that I am. And of course, it's from that background of direct mail that I stumbled into the world of email marketing. Now, email marketing is part and parcel of everything that we do. We send about 250,000 emails in any given month. It contributes a massive chunk of change to our revenue, and we get an opt-out rate of something like 0.2%. Not like 1%, not like 2%, like 0.2%. But the main thing that I learned during that time is that systems equal sanity. You need to be able to track and measure to improve. As Peter Drucker once said, you can't improve what you don't measure. Another thing that I will bring up front is that, yes, I come from an old school background, and you may have guessed already that I'm a passionate guy. Why am I so passionate? I'm passionate because of these people. I built a business, like many people, to support my lifestyle, to support my loved ones, to give myself the autonomy and freedom to do the things that I want to do. This is my beautiful wife, Catherine, on the screen, and my gorgeous boys, Julian and Clancy. And what I've also discovered over the many years that I've been in business is that systems might equal sanity. Automation equals freedom. Again, please write that down. Systems equal sanity. Automation equals freedom. And I have a third. Systems equal sanity, automation equals freedom, and community equals clarity. Now, not only do I do what I do to support my lifestyle, my family, my friends, and give myself the freedom to live the life that I want to live, but I also totally get off on supporting amazing people just like you guys and gals. I really do. It's what gets me out of bed in the morning. It's what keeps me excited, and it's what keeps me passionate. And what I've discovered is that a lot of people think that entrepreneurship or business building is a lonely journey. And sure, it can be and will be if you let it. Me, I realize that I am the average of the 5 people that I spend the most time with. So what I want to do is I want to surround myself with remarkable people. And when I surround myself with remarkable people, we can lift each up together, which is why, once again, use the chat field to the best of your ability. Share your observations, share your aha moments. Be generous like Srinath that just said, nice, right? Get involved, do the best of your ability, because community equals clarity. We might have family and friends that desperately want to support us until we ask them a question about our businesses and they're clueless. Or they might give us advice that's not the right advice. I got an email yesterday, and I hope this guy's on the line, Martin, because I did shoot you a video reply. I haven't sent it to you yet. But Martin replied to one of our emails and he said, listen, I don't understand why you do this. I don't understand why you do that. He was saying, why do you send SMSs? I don't want SMSs. If you want to tell me about a webinar, send me emails. And I can tell Martin and everyone else on the call that I've learned from other business owners that one SMS can replace 4 emails when you've got an event like this one. So I could send you 12 to 18 reminders, or I could send you 4 emails and 3 SMSs. What would you prefer? You tell me. But this is only stuff that we can learn by hanging around with other B2B business owners. Cool? Systems equal sanity, automation equals freedom, community equals clarity. On the screen right now, you can see a framework. A framework is something that you can follow. It's a system. And what I've described, what I'm going to run through is the 3-part process. This is granny proof. It's granny proof in the sense that I can explain it to my mother, who is a grandmother by virtue of the fact that I have children, and she can get it. Build, manage, monetize, or as Robin says, your strategy has been delivering leads to our business on a continuous basis without us actually going out and actively hunting those leads down. We've seen these leads translate into sales. I'm talking about several $100,000. So guys and gals, where are we going to begin? Where would you like to begin? I want at least one person to type a word into the chat field, and I want that word to begin with B, and I want it to end with D. And it's not bod, like my dad bod. Is this where you want to begin, guys and gals? Let's begin there. Rachel, if you want to leave a comment that everyone can see, leave the comment for everyone, not just hosts and panelists. Cool. The 3 non-negotiable ingredients if you want to attract leads. guys and girls, if you want to build a leads list of the right type of leads, you're going to need 3 things. Somebody tell me what one of those things is going to be. These are the 3 non-negotiable ingredients. If you want to build a list, a database, an audience that you own, not on social media, you own it, right? What is at least one of the things that you are going to need to build, that you're going to have in your arsenal of ingredients? Let's have a look here. Bobby, thank you, Bobby. Everybody give Bobby a virtual round of applause for joining the conversation. Bobby is a latecomer. Bobby gets our participation bonus like everybody else who's participated so far. Well done, Bobby. All right, Bobby said a lead magnet. So we call this either a gift or a quid. Did I write that right? A quid pro quo. A quid pro quo. So a quid pro quo is like, yeah, you need to give someone something if they're going to give you their first name, last name, email address, and maybe a phone number in return. Yeah. Is that a fair enough assumption? Quid pro quo. This is the way that business has been conducted since the beginning of time. You know, we're standing on the banks of the Nile and you say, I've got some pots. And I go, wow, well, that's amazing. I've got a wolf skin. Do you want to swap? Right? That there is a quid pro quo. And this is the way that business has been transacted since the beginning of commerce. I see people say, subscribe to my email newsletter. Total snore. I'm not interested in your email newsletter. Give me a gift, right? A little bow on top, right? Give me something that looks really awesome. Now, I like the expression lead magnet, Bobby, because it says what it is. It's a magnet for getting leads. I like the word gift. I like the word quid pro quo. But we've got to give something to get something. So that is the first piece of the puzzle that we're going to need. What else are we going to need? So we're going to need a quid pro quo. We're going to need some sort of gift. All right. What else are we going to, let's see. Walter says an offer which hits the need of the person at the time. Exactly. Well, the gift does need to match the headaches, the obstacles, the aspirations and desires of the target audience. You need target audience clarity. But I'm talking about the 3 things, the 3 ingredients that we're going to need. Thank you, Peter. We're going to need some sort of way to capture the lead. Some sort of capture the lead. And Peter has used the word landing page. We can use the word landing page. I'm going to make it a little bit more explicit. I like how Bobby's using language, which is really direct. I'm just going to call it a lead capture page. So we talk about lead capture gateways, lead capture pages. And that's a page, somebody hits the page, and there is an opportunity for them to get their gift, and there might be some questions that they need to answer, and they get that particular gift. That there is a lead capture gateway. We've got 2 of our 3 ingredients. We've got a gift to build our list. We need some sort of lead capture gateway to collect the lead, collect our first name, last name, email address. Sean has set a system for follow-up. I do like that. That's the manage piece, Sean. That's definitely the next piece. That's the manage piece. But in the build piece, there's one more bit that we know. Bobby says a database. We are building our database. Peter says autoresponder. That is indeed the next bit that's going to come next. Where are these people going to come from? Where are these people going to come from? Hey, I've got a quid pro quo and I've got a landing page. Hello? Hello? I've got a gift and a landing page. Anybody? Hello? Oh, thank you, Will. Traffic. We need some sort of source. We need a source to get people into our world. And those together become the 3 ingredients. As I said, I really want to simplify this for you. I really want to make it simple. Now, you can't generate leads with only one of these things. Hey, I've got a source and I'm telling people just to come into my world. I see that with people. They create a blog or they get really busy on social media, but they have no off-ramp, right? I see that all the time. They got the source. I see people with a lead capture gateway sign up for my email newsletter. I'm just not interested. This is not 1994, okay? Right? I see people with a quid pro quo, but there's no way to capture the lead because they have no lead capture gateway, right? So quid pro quo, source, and lead capture. All right, let's deep down a little bit deeper. What quid pro quos work best? If you want to be able to build a list, what quid pro quos work best? I got 7 options on the screen right now. I want you to type one out. Are we having fun, guys and girls? I'm getting you active now. All right. We've sent out a lot of different messages over the years. We've run a lot of campaigns over the years, and we've got a pretty good idea about what quid pro quos work best. All right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want you to type what works best for generating the lead. Physical book, short ebook, short course, a prize, get an iPad, templates, a training bundle worth a big stack of cash. Get my free training bundle, $4,800. Or maybe it's a free course, a short course, where it's normally $97. Maybe it's an iPad. I don't know how much an iPad is these days. $500? Maybe $1,000? I don't know. Maybe it's a quiz, a scorecard, a diagnostic. Let's have a look here. Wow, what a diverse bunch of answers. Laurie straight off the bat said quiz. Gree has said 7, as has Ethcal. So quiz is really up there by the looks of it. All right. I got a 2 and a 5. So what's a 2 is the short ebook. 5 is the templates. Short ebook, short course. Someone's given the short course. Someone's given 4 the iPad. All right. What an amazing, disparate bunch of responses. By the way, if you haven't yet got involved, you got to get involved. You got to get involved to win the participation bonuses. All right, are you ready? I'm going to start with the worst. The worst is the prize. Particularly a prize that's not targeted. You don't attract good, high quality leads with a prize or a competition. We've run these types of campaigns before. We once ran a competition promoting an iPad, and my mum entered and then referred all her friends. That's not a good target audience. Not good at all. All right. I'm talking at the top of the funnel, strangers to get them in. No. Do you know what's the second worst? Second worst, are you ready? Big fat training bundle. Do you know why? Sounds like hard work, too much effort, right? And I don't believe it, right? So I don't want it. Number 3. All right, here's a clue, guys and gals. If hard work is going to put people off, what do you think is the next one that I'm going to scribble out? What do you think is the next one I'm going to scribble out? Number 3, it's too much hard work. I don't know you. I don't trust you. Why should I put in all this effort to do your free training bundle if I don't trust you? The book. Now, this is a really great calling card. Don't get me wrong. I think it's worthwhile having a book, and the people that become a key person of influence, or the dent people, they're great to work with if you want to create a book. I think it's definitely worthwhile having a book as an asset. Opt in to get my free book. It's just too hard. All right, where are we up to next? Was it Sean that said that he thought the best ones were 5 and 2? Yeah, at this point in time, we have a wiener, and our wieners at this point in time are short ebooks and templates. Templates might be 5 email templates, download our client expectations agreement template. And a short ebook is usually something which is outcome focused. These ones are crushing it. Quiz, not so much. But once again, I love a quiz. Do you know why I love a quiz? It's really great to have a quiz after someone opts in to get your templates or get your ebook, then introduce your quiz, your scorecard, or your diagnostic. That's what's working right now as a quid pro quo. Here is the moral of the story. Less is more. Short and simple equals powerful. Long and complex equals convoluted and confusing. All right, that's the gift. Lead capture page. This is a masterclass. We're going deep. Lead capture page. I've got 3 examples on the screen right now. The one on the left is my homepage of my older business, Ethcal magazine. The one in the middle is a long form landing page that we pulled together using ClickFunnels or Lead Pages. I'm not quite sure. One of those tools. The one on the right is something that we call a lead capture gateway. It's a mini quiz. And we built that using B2b dash. All right, here, all I want to hear from you. What is the highest converting style of lead capture page? 1, 2, 3. Give me an answer. Now, when I say the highest converting, what I mean is when people hit the page, how many people are going to take the next step and give you their contact details? Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's so interesting to watch how people respond over time. If this was 4 years ago, people would more often than not say 1. Now, this is the way it plays. The best homepages in the world converted about 2%. And the reason why is that there's just too much damn stuff going on, right? So they're just too many distractions, which was why the best ones converted 2%. If you don't believe me, Google it. If you still don't believe me, look at your own Google Analytics. Your bounce rate's probably 98%, right? There's just too much stuff going on, too many distractions, which is why people have developed landing pages where there were only two options: take the next step or leave. This particular landing page in the middle was converting at around 20 to 25%. And we were really happy with that. And the reason why is that this one on the left here, you'd need to get 100 visitors to the page to get 2 leads. Cool. This one here, you only need to get 10 visitors to the page to get 2 leads. Is that better? This one on the right is converting at 30% plus. Indeed, this one on the right, this one that you can see right now on the screen is converting at, I'm going to write this in a different color to emphasize the point, 42.53%. What that basically means is that 4 out of 10 people that are hitting the page are giving me their contact details. And the main reason for that is we've gone from way too many distractions to this page, which is really cool, looks really polished, and there's testimonials and a whole bunch of reasons why I should opt in, to this one here on the right, which is totally gamified. Totally gamified. What do I mean by that? It doesn't ask for first name, last name, email address, phone number up front. It has a dumb question, a no-brainer question. The gift is how to book more conversations with very interested prospects. And the question is, what best describes your situation? And number 2 is that most new client relationships start with a conversation. 98% of people that hit that page, click that button, bang, it goes to the next step. We capture the lead. Traffic sources. All right, there are all sorts of different ways to generate traffic, all sorts of different traffic sources. And the reality is, unless you want to spend the big bucks on advertising, you probably will need more than one. Indeed, you're probably going to end up with 3 as a bare minimum ways to generate traffic. So on the screen right now, you can see our recipe roadmap. This is our own funnel framework that we've been teaching for about 8 or 9 years now. We have a training program, The Recipe. It was our first training program to generate over $1 million in revenue. And that's because it's a powerful course and it has been a game changer for a whole ton of people. And one of the reasons why it's done so well is that it simplified the process. What we can see here on the screen is that you will need some sort of way to capture the gift, and you will need some sort of way to book a meeting with your customer or client. In the middle, we have a sandwich page. Can you see that? Someone opts in to get the gift. We introduce a diagnostic, and then we invite them to book the meeting. 1, 2, 3 steps. Now, above these particular traffic sources, there are all sorts of different ways to generate traffic. Social media, SEO. So SEO come up before. Strategic alliances, spend money on ads. Your website, all sorts of different ways to generate traffic. And then, of course, at the top of the funnel, we can take the lead, maybe pre-qualify the lead with a mini quiz or a diagnostic, then invite that person to book a meeting with us. If somebody does come into our world, what do we need to do next? We need to take them on a little bit of a journey with email. Now, I'm going to come back to those 3 emails in just a moment. But one thing that I do want to highlight is that it's often said that it's going to take somewhere between 7 and 14 touches before a future customer or client is going to trust you enough to give you their money to invest in you and your business, and in doing so, invest in themselves. People say it's usually going to take about 7 to 14 touches. Let's have a look at this. Someone sees your message on social media. They go to your landing page. 1, 2. They complete your diagnostic. Number 3, they may or may not take the next step. But let's say that they opt in to get your free gift. We need to deliver on the promise. Maybe send an email to tell your story. Maybe a 3rd email to reinforce the offer being why they should meet with you. And then they meet with you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, almost entirely on autopilot. Guys and gals, I have another participation bonus. And this participation bonus is called 24 lead generation tactics, specifically for B2b. Who would like this participation bonus? To get this participation bonus, all you need to do is participate. And the easiest way to participate right now is to simply answer with one word. It begins with the letter Y and it ends with the letters ES, and it is indeed 3 letters. All you need to do is participate and you will unlock this participation bonus. Woohoo! I want to do what I can to make sure that you have everything that you need to succeed when you enter our world. You are going to need sources of traffic. You're going to need some sort of gift, and you're going to need a way to capture the lead. That is the Holy Trinity. That is the trifecta for the top of the funnel. Indeed, that is the bare minimum. Yeah, hey. Thank you, Rachel. She called me a legend. Legend in my own lunchtime. All right, we've talked about build. What's next? Manage. Or as Rob says, I'm loving it when a prospect has gone through my funnel and they're pre-sold before I even start to talk. I'm loving it when a prospect has gone through my funnel and they're pre-sold before I even start to talk. Isn't that amazing? Now, I was talking about all the different reasons why people don't do email or what they find to be the hardest piece. That one of the most common things is I don't have enough time. Have you heard of the concept of a trigger sequence? When you have a trigger sequence, trigger sequences are a massive way to get more time back into your business. Trigger sequences also do one extra other thing too, which is really, really cool. I'm going to tell you what that thing is in just a moment. Most people, when we talk about email, obsess over broadcasts. They think email is all about their email newsletter. No. What's the difference between an email and a sequence? Well, let's have a look at 3 different options on the screen right now. 1, 2, 3. It's another pop quiz. Which of these emails got and gets the highest click-through rate? So I talked about landing pages, lead capture pages, and conversions. This one is click-through rate. So this one on the left is our email newsletter and was our email newsletter. And what you'll notice is that it has a whole lot of buttons, a whole lot of different reasons why people can click. Because, guys and gals, I want to create something which is going to please everyone on my database. So I create an email newsletter with something for everyone. All right, that's number 1. Number 2 is a plain text email with a photo of me on it. And the third one is a plain text with 3 options. Choose one of these 3 options to take the next step. Which one do you think is going to be the best one? Look at this. Raywin says number 1. Jessica says number 1. I see a whole bunch of 2s and I see a whole bunch of 3s. Well, let me tell you quite definitively that these types of emails now stink. They do. They are the least scary because they look the most professional. But these ones, I believe, are the greatest culprits when it comes to adding to the noise. And I'm a subscriber to a bunch of emails like this, and I get them, and it's our monthly missive. And I look at it or I don't open it, whatever it's going to be. It's also really hard to come up with a headline for this particular email. What's it going to be? So people end up with the headline, newsletter May. Doesn't answer the question, what's in it for me? Now, of these 1 and 2 on the right, what is the highest converting? It's a close call, and my brain has to remember which one it is. Lately, it's been, are you ready? And the winner is, lately, it's been this style. This style. And the reason why I believe it's this style is that spam filters are penalizing emails with images in them. Emails with images in them are going straight to the promotions folder. Now, in our world, we've found ways to minimize that because we spend a lot of time and effort optimizing our emails. But the difference is that the one in the middle might go to an email. The one on the right is slightly outperforming it. But I'm going to say only by that much because of the email. What these 2 have in common, these other ones, is that there is really only either one call to action, do this here, or make a choice of 3 different things here, and we can take one of the 2. The main reason why I'm sharing this is to share some insights that I didn't expect that I was going to give you. But the main reason is that most people are stuck on broadcasts. What's working right now are plain text. Nina, great question. Does this also apply to email signatures? It depends what email type of email signature that you use. If you're using some sort of HTML tool like WiseStamp, where it embeds it into the body of the email, it's less likely to cause you trouble. If your email signature is something where you've, I don't know, got all these different things attached to it, it causes problems. But once again, we have noticed lately that plain text email signatures are doing very well as well. But it's a trade-off, because an email signature, the ones that have your photo are the best of all. Cool, rock and roll. Broadcasts versus sequences. So broadcasts are kind of on their way out. It doesn't mean that you can't have a broadcast, particularly if the broadcast is to promote something which is time sensitive or temporary. Maybe you've got a special offer, or maybe you're running an event. But if you are going to send that broadcast, it pays to have it look something a little bit more like this. So what is the difference between a broadcast and a sequence? Well, a broadcast is something that you go, okay, I think that I'm going to broadcast this to everyone on my list right now. And that there is kind of like email marketing 101, 1.0. Trigger sequences are email marketing 2.0. And they're called trigger sequences, or at least we call them trigger sequences, because they are triggered by an event. We also sometimes interchangeably call them destination sequences, and that is because the purpose of your trigger sequence is to take your person to the next step. So for example, the destination might be to get someone who is a new lead to book a meeting with you. Once somebody books a meeting with you, the destination might be to get that person to show up for the meeting. When somebody's shown up for the meeting, we might have a sequence to get them to put their credit card detail onto a page, something like that. So on the screen right now, you can see 5 different trigger sequences. The first is what we call the welcome sequence. And the welcome sequence comprises the 3 most important emails you will ever send. So I'm going to deep dive into those 3 emails in just a moment. The purpose of the welcome email is to help you come across as reliable, memorable, and commercial. An elevation sequence could be just about any type of sequence to get them to the next level. So often these go hand in glove. We might have the welcome sequence where we send 3 emails, followed up by an elevation sequence where we might send 4. A cold outreach sequence is when you send out emails to strangers to get them to do what? To get them to opt in for your free gift, to get them to book a meeting. Do you know what? The best cold outreach sequences are to get strangers into what? A conversation. That's what the best cold email sequence, just to get someone to reply and have a conversation with you. Anticipation sequence. I believe this is the second most important sequence. Number 1. Second is the anticipation sequence, and that's to get someone to actually show up for your meeting when they book a time with you. 3, the follow-up sequence after somebody books a meeting with you and you've had a great conversation and you want them to buy from you. And the third most important sequence, I believe, is the retention. Hey, what the heck just happened then? I just jumped out of one presentation and into another presentation. That was interesting. Let's get back in. Peter says, I just learned something. Thanks, James. I'm glad you're learning. That's awesome. 3. A retention sequence, sometimes called an onboarding sequence. So after somebody buys from you, we want people to take the next. We want people to start getting value as quickly as possible. Now, you could go to an email marketing consultant and say, can you please prepare these sequences for me? And they'll probably give you one sequence for somewhere between $3,000 and $6,000. $3,000 to $600 for one sequence. A little bit later, I'm going to show you how to get access to all our sequences for free as part of a bundle. So let's get into this. Elevation plus welcome, welcome plus elevation. I said this a little bit earlier. These are the 3 most important emails that you will ever send. Someone opts in to get your gift. What should you do next? The answer is deliver on the promise that you made. So simple. But I'm so surprised at how many people just fail this really simple step. If someone's opted in to get your free report, give them the damn free report. Now, we get very little grief from our email subscribers, and we get borderline no rage. And I know that some people get rage, and this is why they're afraid of email, because they tried it and they got rage. We get pretty much no rage. The only times that we ever do get rage are when someone opts in to get the free gift and we stuff up that step. So for example, sometimes the link is broken in that email for them to get the gift. Sometimes we decide in our infinite wisdom to try and promote something else in the body of that email, and the link to the promise gets lost. And only 2 weekends ago, this happened. Only 2 weekends ago, this happened. We accidentally messed up our sequence and they got the second email first, and people raged. It was an email that went out on a Saturday, and it was crazy because John's sending me these messages via our Slack channel going, why is everybody getting so cross with us? And that is because we got our emails in the wrong sequence. And it was hilarious because they got the welcome email first, they replied enraged, then they got the promise email, and then they replied and apologized. But however, we messed up the sequence. I'll show you what a promise email looks like in just a moment. The promise, followed by the welcome, followed by the offer. The purpose of the promise email is to demonstrate that you are reliable, that you deliver on your promise. Cool, makes sense. The welcome email is one of those rare opportunities for you to tell your story. And the offer is where you take the person to the next step. So it might be inviting that person to book a meeting with you. On the screen right now, you can see a couple templates and our tofu, mofu, bofu roadmap, which I believe contains 16 different email templates. Would you like access to that? I'll show you how in just a moment. And then after those 3, we'll often send something with a visual bonus, like an infographic or a link to a video. You can see an example of that over here. Then we might send some tactical advice. We call this a text tip, where we just give some advice. There's no call to action. Then we might have a case study, which is a long example of how we can help, which does include a call to action, maybe book a meeting. And then we follow it up with the 9-word email, which is 9 words along the lines of, do you still need help with outcome? And it's a powerful email for getting responses. So I asked you, would you like my tofu, mofu, bofu roadmap? Certainly. Well, guess what? Cliffhanger. Our tofu, mofu, bofu roadmap is a sticky bonus. So I've talked about participation bonuses. What's a sticky bonus? Here's the sticky bonus. We're just about to reach the 1 hour mark of our 2 hours together. And our sticky bonus is a bonus for sticking around. That's what you get. If you can stick around to the Q&A, you'll get our tofu bofu roadmap with our 16 templates. Now, if you're already part of our world, if you're part of 16 VIPs or you're a blazer, you can request these things at any time. It's part of our Build-a-thon training. But if you're new to our world and you want this mega document, which is about 50 pages in length, and it's awesome, you have to stick around. All right. But however, if you want the participation bonuses, you need to participate. So I need you to participate right now. If you're pulling together a welcome sequence, okay. If you're pulling together a welcome sequence, what is the next step that you want people to take? If you're pulling together a welcome sequence, what is the next step that you want somebody to take? What is the destination? Can you remember what is going to be useful? Somebody opts in to get your gift, they enter your world. Where do we want them to go next? Somebody give me an answer. They've landed on your landing page to opt in to get your free gift. After they've opted into your free gift, you might redirect them to a mini diagnostic or a quiz. It is a form of landing page. What do you want them to do? What do you want them to do next? Just sit on your email database for months? Is that what you want them to do? No. You want them to book. You want them to book a time with you, right? You want to get them on the phone. I wonder if I can draw a phone. There's an old school phone that looks more like a mushroom or a piece of sushi. All right, you want them to book a call with you. That's what we want them to do. We call it an AWP, an appointment with purpose. What is the trigger for the welcome sequence, right? And the booking tool that we use is called B2b Dash, because B2b Dash also allows us to create our lead capture gateways and create our sequences. all in one, and we don't have to map it all together. What is the trigger? What is the trigger? How do we trigger the welcome sequence? This is a really obvious one here. We're at the 1 hour mark. This is a pop quiz. I need to make sure that you're paying attention, and I'm reinforcing the lesson. What is the trigger for the welcome sequence? The welcome sequence is the sequence that you send after somebody opts into your gift for the first time. Thank you, Greg. The trigger is the opt-in. It's the gift. They opt in to get the gift. And what we want to do is we want to deliver on the promise. And the promise email is as simple as this. Here's the free report you requested. Here are the free templates you requested. Hi, James, here's the free report you requested. It will insert the promise your gift will deliver. Download the report. And then you might have a PS. And the PS will depend on your target audience. My favorite PS at the moment is a little bit different to this template. My favorite PS is, over coming days, we're going to send some additional resources your way. We hope that you find them useful. If you don't want them, simply unsubscribe, but I hope you won't. They were crafted with love. I don't know, what's that? 40 words? Easiest email that you'll ever write, one of the 3 most important. It's kind of like that, Peter. It's like an email receipt. And it triggers, someone opts in, it triggers the promise email. 2 to 24 hours later, we want to tell our story. The welcome email is a long email and it tells you a story. The best welcome emails articulate your authentic connection to the problem that they have. So if they've got a common problem, you share your authentic connection to the problem that they have. And the crazy thing about the welcome email is that it might get a slightly higher opt-out rate than normal, but everyone else who sticks around will stick around. They feel like they get to know you a little bit better. The third email is your offer, and the third offer is about getting that person to book that call. And there's a bunch of different strategies that you can use to get people to book that particular call. Indeed, we have an online form that you can complete, and it almost spits out the language that you can use. Radical transparency. As we get into this particular very important stage of our training together, I'm talking about templates. I'm showing you templates. I'm talking about sequences. I'm showing you sequences. But at the end of the day, there is no magic formula. There are just ideas and templates and frameworks. The real value does not come from pulling together the perfect email. The real value comes from the touch. Now, a little bit earlier, I said, what are your big headaches and challenges? And people said things like coming up with ideas and coming up with email headlines. All that stuff is important. But the real value comes from the touch. Even if they don't open the email, right? If they open the email, even better. If they read it, even better. If they click, even better. But this is the same reason why KFC is constantly on our television sets. They don't expect you to rush out and buy a Zinger burger every time their ad comes on television. It's about the touch. It's the frequency. So the real value comes from the touch plus the opportunity for you to get, write this down, guys and gals, consistent. Indeed, I'm going to recommend that right at this moment, you take a photo of the screen. Take out your camera right now and take a photo of the screen. Do it. Take out your camera and take a photo of the screen. I want in 1 hour, in 6 hours, in 12 hours, in 24 hours, in 1 year, when you are scrolling through your photos and you see this and you go, OMG, James told me there's no magic formula, just ideas and templates. But the real value from just about all forms of marketing is to get the touch plus the opportunity for you to get consistent. If I want to highlight the biggest cause of self-sabotage in any business or any growing business, it is the lack of consistency. We're always banging on about something called CIAs, consistent impact activities. There are some things that you need to do consistently to get a result. It's like a march, right? You just need to do it to get a result. Some of these things can be automated, even better, but they are all consistency They are consistent impact activities. The more that you do them and the more consistent that you will do them, you will watch things go do, up and up and up. Like one of those old school charts. 3, where are we at? Monetize, build, manage, monetize. Now, I've just seen the observation, automate them equals more time. Thank you, whoever said that. Because of course, time is money, and all of these things interrelate with each other. It's rarely the case that you do one thing and you get explosive growth. I'm not in the business of introducing or selling magic bullets, secret hacks, silver bullets, magic formulas. But one thing I knew though is when you add all the different things together, dum, 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 that's when things click. And that's when things come together. Indeed, one of the most valuable ingredients for success, I believe, is patience. Patience plus focus. And that is because we live at a time and place right now when everybody's expecting immediate overnight success. Now, the reality is, you know as well as I do that the world doesn't work that way. It simply just doesn't work that way. You need to put in the effort to get the result. What I do believe, however, is that if you can structure what you do in a way where it is do, we call it task attainment, and you get little wins along the way, that creates momentum. Momentum creates more momentum. You get the dopamine hits, you're more likely to execute, and that's when you get the big results. So Stephen says, just a quick note to say, my business this year has lifted about 70%, which is worth over $1 million in revenues at least. I'm kind of freaking out because I can't keep up with the demand. I only implemented a few strategies from the training, but they've worked too well. So 2 things that Stephen did. One of the things that he did is he chunked up his audiences for different micro campaigns. And the other thing that he did is he used email more intelligently. And he generated $1 million in revenue. Woohoo! Guys and gals, why do people opt out of your list? I need you to participate. I need you to get involved as we move well and truly into the second half of our time together. Why do people opt out of your list? I need you to tell me. In fact, I'm going to have a sip of value and you're going to tell me why people opt out of your list, or indeed why you opt out of their list. And I'm really interested in what it is that you have to say. Let's have a look. Now, what's really interesting and exciting about this is that not one person so far has said too many. Now, normally the number one reason that comes up, here we go, thank you, Jessica. Mwah, thank you, Jessica. Mwah, is too many. And that's the first thing that comes out of people's mouth. Too many, that's why people opt out. Do you know what? That is the number one reason that most people normally give. And in the context of what we're running through right now, and given the emails that I've been sending you in advance, or a whole bunch of you guys and gals are already part of our world, you're unlikely to say that because I've educated you enough already. But however, the number one reason that people give is too many. But it's actually only it's the third most likely reason why people opt out. Too many. Now, I also see a lot of people saying irrelevant. Hey, Mark also said too frequent emails. Thank you, Mark. I also say, Laurie says boring. Linda, thanks for playing along, Linda. I see not interested, not enough value, irrelevance, no perceived value. Now, you guys and gals here have identified what is the second most common reason for people opting out, and is indeed relevance. And this is where perception and reality do align. So people say the number one reason is too many. The second reason that they say is relevance. Then we have the number one reason why people opt out. Too aggressive, says Joseph. That's probably comes down to too many and relevant together. And irrelevant. If it's too many and they're irrelevant, it probably comes across as aggressive. Too many sales emails, I'd imagine, is probably that particular combo. So what is the number one reason why they opt out? I did see somebody write this. Let's see who got it. Where was it? I did see it. Here we go. Nobby wrote, who are you? Who are you? The number one reason why they opt out is they've either forgotten who you are, what you're about, what you stand for, or indeed they've forgotten that they opted in the first place, right? Or they've forgotten why they should care. Who are you? Here's the crazy thing about emails. So everybody's so obsessed about adding value. So everyone's so obsessed, not about adding value. They're so obsessed about not adding to the noise that they end up adding to the noise. They don't do anything that's remarkable or memorable or different or exceptional. It doesn't respond to the headaches, the obstacles, the aspirations and desires of their target audience. So they opt out. Now, one of the biggest mistakes that I therefore see people make as a result of this is usually lack of frequency. My handwriting is terrible, worse than a surgeon. I just wrote down the word lack of frequency. We want those touches. We want to be like KFC. We don't want to make people's arteries harden. We want to make them healthier and stronger and happier. But from a marketing perspective, we want the frequency. Someone on TikTok the other day criticized one of my TikToks. How outrageous. And I was talking about email marketing and they said, it sounds like your strategy is way too many. When I opt into somebody's email database, I want to get the thing that I promised and then I probably don't want to hear from them for a month. Here's what would happen if someone opts into your database and then you don't wait for a month to send them an email. They get that second email. They immediately say, who are you, bloody spammer? And then they opt out immediately, which is why we need sequences. We need to be able to deliver on the promise. Then we need to tell our story, be that little bit more memorable. And then we can introduce the next thing and demonstrate why we're in the business of helping that particular person. But the reason why I have this is that most people are so freaked out about sending too many, or they worry about relevance, that they don't send enough emails. And as a result, the opt-out rate just goes up. So what happens is they send an email once every month and the opt-out rate goes up. So they go, oh, maybe I'll do them every 2 months and the opt-out rate is higher. Oh, I'm going to do one every 3 months. And the opt-out rate goes out even higher than they give up. I'm going to suggest that if you aren't sending out an email every 2 weeks at least, you probably shouldn't be playing the game. Better off, send at least one a week, or maybe, just maybe, you can embrace something called our 6-week content rhythms. Now, as we moved through this process, I began with some pretty basic fundamentals, like what you need to do to capture a lead. Then I moved into some more complex concepts, such as trigger emails. I'm taking things to the next level here. And as I get into this, not everybody's going to be willing and able and comfortable doing the things that I'm talking about right now. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that if you are turning over less than $60,000 a year, you need to get this combo right. It's the 3 non-negotiables, the quid pro quo, the lead capture page, and focus on the sources. Cool? Because that's how you're going to build your audience. That's how you're going to build your list. If you're turning over somewhere between $60,000 and $200,000 a year, you need to be embracing trigger sequences. The good news is this is a stepping stone. It's a process. If you start by pulling together the 3 non-negotiables, by default, you're going to end up pulling together that particular trigger sequence. But if you're doing somewhere between 60,000 and 200,000, you need this. Incidentally, if you are doing over 200,000 and you don't have those 2 pieces of the puzzle in place, you know where to start. If you're turning over $200,000 a year, it's at that point where you need to go a little bit deeper and embrace something called our 6-week content rhythm when it comes to emails. Now, even if you don't want to use this for email, guess what? Spoiler alert. This is not, we don't only use this for email. We use this for everything. Are you ready? This is what we do. We have our trigger sequences that are running that respond to events. But then, of course, if somebody's not in our trigger sequence, We want to have some sort of nurture sequence which we can use to keep nurturing people over time. And this is the way it works. We pull together 6 themes to run over 6 weeks. If you've got a process that you teach, you'll probably be aware of the different themes that you run. So I might say, this theme is about leads. Next week, I'm going to do one on booking meetings. Next week, I'm going to do one on closing. You can see the idea, right? We have these different themes. Now, I just want you to observe the framework here. Monday, I can send an email that is designed to bust a myth. And throughout today, I've been busting myths. So let's say I was talking about email marketing as my theme. The bust a myth might be frequently. I just did that, too many. Tuesday, give a gift. Here are some templates. Wednesday, tell a story. Here's what Stephen did. Thursday, reveal a tactic. Here are the 3 most important emails you'll ever send. Friday, call to action. Book a meeting with one of our crew or sign up for one of our products. And we map those things out for the theme for every week. Now, as I'm running through this, there are a bunch of people like going, wow, that sounds like a lot of work, James. Too hard, too hard, too hard, too hard. That's okay. You're allowed to feel that way. But what I do want to do is I want to get you started, which is why I talked about the different price points, right? If you're doing under 60,000, you need that first ingredient. 60 to 200, you need that second ingredient. Over 200, all 3, please. But however, I want to get you started. And if you want to do a weekly email, if this is too tricky, a weekly combo. 1 email, a weekly combo. Have 1 email a week that, are you ready? Busts a myth and gives a gift. 1 email that tells a story, reveals a tactic. Or maybe it tells a story and gives a gift. Okay? Maybe it shares a story, reveals a tactic, and concludes with a call to action. And the wonderful thing is that if you are able to go through this process, 6 weeks, you can, of course, put these in an automated sequence. And these can be triggered by certain events. And 6 weeks is usually enough to keep people entertained and busy for the longer term. Now, this is just a little bit of an aside for the people that are already part of our world. If you're already part of our world, particularly if you're part of our intelligent offers training that we ran the other week, you're aware that we have training called our B2b course mapping formula, which is where we teach you how to create your own signature method. And I do believe that if you're in a business where you sell knowledge and expertise, it pays to have a signature method. And to break it down really simply, you look at your target audience and you go, what are their 3 biggest headaches? And you go headache 1, headache 2, headache 3. Then you think about what the inverse of that headache is. So it could well be, I'm not getting enough leads. I'm not getting enough meetings. I'm struggling to close. Cool? Then you look at the inverse of that. More leads, more meetings, close better quality clients faster. This is the surest way the easiest way, I should say, to build out some sort of signature method. Then you can say, well, if you step into our world, we're going to focus on this particular challenge and that particular challenge and that particular challenge, which gives you some sort of ultimate outcome. The reason why I'm bringing this up right here, right now, is that when I talk about 6 weeks of themes, people go, how am I going to come up with 6 weeks of themes? If you can come up with 3 big headache cures that you can offer for your clients, people are going to say, how do you get there? And you can say, well, if you want this particular outcome, if you want leads, for example, you're going to need a lead capture gateway, a gift, and a source of leads. If you want to get started on a trigger sequence, you're going to need maybe the welcome email, the promise email, the welcome email, the offer email. Can you see what I'm doing here? If you want to monetize, this is our 3-layer signature method for mapping your formula, and you end up creating at least 9 to 39 items of content. Now, as I said, we're going to start high and we're going to get granular, and we are reaching a point now where I know that some of your brains are straining with thoughts and ideas and pent up desire to unlock opportunities that have been denied to you until now. If you are able to start with this idea of, you know what, could I come up with 6 themes? Well, a smart way to do that might be to apply a signature method where I can distill it down, create more content ideas and product ideas than I ever thought possible. Here's the really beautiful thing. For some people, this is going to be the moment. If you're able to distill what you do down into outcome-focused chunks, sometimes what's really amazing is that within those chunks, there are not only amazing emails, there is not only amazing content that you can distribute across social media channels all day, every day. Sometimes you can package this stuff up. You can package this stuff up and indeed sell it. Here is an unintended consequence of what we've been talking about now. Greg went through one of our training programs. I believe it was called The Recipe, and he chunks down what he was doing, broke it down into little chunks. And as he took a step back, he looked at it and he went, man, look at all these emails that I've written and all these little free reports that I've written. If I pull these together, I can indeed sell these because they were outcome focused. And as he says, if you had tried to tell me that I could sell a PDF for $300 before we started working together, I wouldn't believe you. Over 2 weeks, Greg took the content that he had created as a side effect of all the other things that he was doing, bundled it into a PDF, and over 2 weeks, he sold 38 units of a $300 PDF and generated close to $10,000 in revenue. Wild, right? So we've been working through a framework, and I said it a little bit earlier. One of the most important assets that you can have is patience. And the reason why is that big outcomes don't happen overnight. They are the combination of lots of little wins, going from this to this to this. Or as Andre once said, quite an old testimonial, but one of my favorites, rather than just rethinking the marketing of the business, he did one of our courses. I can't remember which one. The course forces you to reimagine how you do business, or more correctly, how you can do what you do better, cheaper, faster, and save time. Take the course, do the exercises. Don't think too much, and you'll be richly rewarded. What I've been trying to do for this last piece of the puzzle is get you thinking about how what we're doing might relate to the much bigger picture. Because a lot of the things that we obsess about or we focus on are just small tactics. And tactics on their own are just small tactics. It's when those things come together that the big outcomes happen. Most people are so afraid of adding to the noise that they play it safe and they end up adding to the noise. This is the number one reason why we all hate email. It's just so noisy. And most of the emails that we get are crap. They're unrelated, or we don't understand how they relate to us because we've forgotten why we opted in or why we should be a part of that world. Here's another screen that I might invite you to take a photo of. How could you? I'm reframing everything that we've been focused on. Right from the outset, where I said the biggest headaches that people have, they worry that it's going to be spammy. They can't come up with ideas. They struggle to build their list. Here's my question for you. How could you make your content so good it's what others are charging for? It's better than what others are charging for. Could you do that? If you start your email marketing with that frame in mind, how could you make your content so good it's better than what others are charging for? Not only will you be able to fill your list faster, not only will your emails engage and delight, but you are more likely to be able to sign better quality clients faster. So guys and gals, that there is the guts of the masterclass. However, as I said, I'm going to stick around for 2 hours. But there's one more piece of the puzzle that I feel I need to reveal. And that one more piece of the puzzle that I need to reveal is the tech piece. Because as I ran through that, people are always asking me, but how will I do that, James? Or what tech will I use? So I've set aside a little bit of time. To answer that tech question, provide a Q&A, and also introduce a way that some of you guys and gals might like to work with us if you're interested in that. Because participating in something like this is cool. And hopefully we've got you unstuck in a way, but B2B sales and marketing is a deep, deep well. So here's what I want to hear from you right now. And right now, if you're able to participate, I will also unlock the sticky bonus for you because we're almost at sticky bonus time. I just want to hear from you. What were some of your take homes from our time together today? What were your aha moments? Were there any epiphanies? Were there things that you've been doing where you realize right now that you've been doing them wrong? You took a step and you went, holy cow, I've been doing this totally from the wrong frame. I want to hear from you. I need to hear from you. And the reason why is I need to hear from you because I want to know what messages stood out. I want to hear from you because it's going to help you. And here's the best bit. I really, really want to hear from you because when you answer this bit and you type out your epiphanies, your breakthroughs, you're helping everyone else on the call. That's what you're doing. When you type something out and you make it available for everyone, you are helping everyone else on the call. And that is because systems equal sanity. I've been downloading systems. Automation equals freedom. That should be obvious. Community equals clarity. And if you can find a place where you can get all those three things, systems, automation, community, that is a powerful, powerful combo. If you're struggling to come up with an aha moment, what could you possibly teach others? Something came out of this that you're going to share with a member of your staff, a business partner, a member of your crew, your husband, your wife, your teenage kids. It doesn't matter. What could you teach others in the next 24 hours? What could you do or implement in the next 24 hours? I want everyone on the call to do their best to do this, particularly people that have not participated so far. If you have not participated so far, you are self-sabotaging. Now, if you're driving a car, that's perfectly fine. If you're driving a car, say something out loud. Say it loudly. Systems equal sanity. If you're sitting on a public bus and you can't leave a comment, say it out loud. Systems equal sanity, and watch all the other passengers look at you funny. That'll be cool. Do that. JD, simple actions. There is no perfect plan. That's right. Build, 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 power. I once had the privilege of meeting James Dyson, inventor of the Dyson vacuum cleaner, and I interviewed him for our magazine, Ethcal magazine. And did you know it took him 11 years to sell one vacuum cleaner? 11 years to sell a vacuum cleaner. Now he's a multi-billionaire. Peter, lead magnet formats, terrific. Timothy, keep it short and simple. Wow. Rachel, I'm doing everything wrong, but not doing anything at all. All right, well, hopefully I've given you a framework to get started. Sean, I really like the 6-week content rhythms. Sean says, I could use that for social posts as well as email. What do you think we do, brother? What do you think we do, brother? On a Thursday, we map out what we're going to do for the next week. And then every 6 weeks, we map it out again. And that, that creates what we're going to put on our Facebook group and TikTok or LinkedIn, the whole thing. Mark, making content of emails more valuable than what others are charging. Thank you, my friend. Good answer. Laurie said, I should have had my webmaster on this call. Alina also likes the content rhythms. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. This is about you. This is about you and being aware of ways that you can help yourself in your business. So as I said, I want to answer this question, but what tech will I need, James? And in doing so, I'm going to introduce you to an option called our B2B Blazer plan. Now, if you are brand new to our world, I'm going to invite you to become a B2B Blazer. If you are new to our world, perhaps you're part of 16 VIPs, I'm going to invite you to migrate across to being a Blazer. Let's say you're 3 weeks in, maybe 4 weeks in, or 5 weeks or 6 weeks in. If you're brand new to our world, like totally brand new to our world. So for example, I saw Nina's name come up a moment ago. Great to see you, Nina. We had a guy called Stephen come in just a couple of days ago, a woman called Ashley. Stick with, if you're brand new to our world, the last 2 weeks, all I want you to do now is look at what it is that I'm doing. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach a lesson. What tech will I need, James? I'm going to introduce the Blazer, which in its own way is a pitch. I'm going to make an offer. And then I'm going to introduce the Q&A. So even if you're recently signed up for 16 VIPs, watch what I'm doing, right? Watch what I'm doing. There's a funny thing about pitching and sales. You know, the most successful people in the world love a good pitch. They love a good pitch. The most unsuccessful people run away. Oh, I don't want to be sold to anything. The most successful people in the world are taking notes. And the successful people know the difference between an opportunity and a threat. Unsuccessful people, everything's a threat. Successful people go, okay, wow, the ROI is there. The COI is there. I should take action. So anyway, I'm going to answer this question. What tech will I need, James? Well, these are the most popular tools for people just like you right now. Are you ready? You could sign up for, let me check. You could sign up for ClickFunnels. I think that's about $97. That's a landing page builder. Lead Pages, I think, is $49. Unbounce is $99. For a diagnostic builder, there's Woofu, Survey Gizmo, Bucket.io. All of them are around $99 if you want to use them well. If you want an appointment booking tool, Calendly, Time Trade, Schedule Once, they range from about $10 to $30. Let's say 10 to 30. Then if you want to take payment, well, like we do, take a deposit, you might need Stripe or PayPal or some sort of cart tool like Samcart or Pay Kickstart. These guys take a percentage. These guys take a monthly fee, again, like $99 a month. If you want email automation, yeah, then it really starts to get expensive. All those tools start free and end up around $300 a month. If you want a CRM or a sales manager, once again, they all start free and then they end up somewhere again between $97 and $300 a month. Then if you're using all these different tools, you're going to need something like Zapier or IFTTTT, whatever that one is. And they're like, start around $49 a month. What we've found over time is that there seems to be 2 paths that people go down. They go and they sign up for a whole bunch of tools. They sign up for a whole bunch of tools. And let me try and write on the screen here. It's not working. All right, they sign up for a whole bunch of tools. I'll make this purple and a nice big font. And they usually end up spending somewhere between, I don't know, $400 and $700. And they have to cobble all these different tools together. And it's no fun. You end up with these things called Frankenfunnels. The average we found after auditing our audience was about $620. Right? So you end up with all these different tools. The other option is that someone might sign up for something like HubSpot, which once again starts off free and then ends up being something like $3,000. And really it comes down to the size of your business. And what we've found is that businesses that are turning over, less than 100K end up on the left, and businesses that are turning over more 100K end up somewhere on the right. I don't believe that either of those scenarios are ideal, which is why, along with my 2 business partners, Simon Ogilvie and John Inglesos, we built a tool. And we invested over $600,000 of money and sweat into a tool called B2b-.io. And with B2b-.io, you can get the booking tool. The booking tool is amazing because you save so much time. You avoid all that back and forth. The other reason for having a booking tool, aside from avoiding the back and forth, is that when you can avoid all this back and forth, you're more likely to position yourself as the prize. This is when I'm available. I'm the boss here, right? When there's all that back and forth, you come across as needy. But the third most important bit is metrics. If I turned around and said, how many meetings with clients did you book last week with potential clients? You say, I don't know. I said, how many last month? You say, I'm not sure. So how much last quarter? You go, I'd have to go back to my diary on my calendar. The first tech building block is this. Dash does that. Now, we talked about this. We talked about this. We talked about this. I love gamification. Gamify the process. I love gamification that can be conducted in a way which is also collecting data. And this very simple and elegant lead capture gateway template we have found is so easy to put together. This is hard, even though they've made it easy and it's hard. This one requires a banner and your ability to come up with some questions. And it's converting like crazy. Now, there's the second tech building block. The third building block, some sort of diagnostic. Once again, I love a tool that can qualify the lead. The other funny thing about this sandwich page that sits between the two is that we've noticed that more people book the call after they've completed this little mini diagnostic, because we can use the diagnostic to elevate anticipation before the meeting. We're asking questions that are making people think, I do have that problem. I do suffer from that challenge. I do want that outcome. So by the time we say, hey, would you like to book an appointment with purpose with us? Not a discovery session, not a breakthrough call. They go, yeah, rock and roll. What about this piece? Well, B2b Dash has been built to do that as well. What I really love about B2b Dash, one of the best features that I love when we were building it out, is that when somebody books a call with me, I can choose from a drop down and say, I want to send this anticipation sequence. And then it boosts anticipation before the meeting. When somebody opts in to get my gift, I can choose a little drop down and say, I want to trigger this particular sequence right here. When somebody buys a product from me, I can choose a little drop down and choose the sequence because I built those little campaigns in B2b Dash. Really cool. There's 5 pieces of the puzzle that I want to highlight, 5 tech building blocks, the 5 pieces that changed everything for us when we talk about the Holy Grail. Yeah, there's booking the appointments piece, the lead capture piece, the email drip piece. There's knowing who's who in the zoo so that you can follow up with the right people at the right time. And finally, taking the money online. I love being able to take the money online, and I highly recommend that you, if you're sending people invoices, change up the way that you are doing things. So what I want to do right now is I want to introduce a couple different ways that you can work with us, that we can work together. And I'm going to introduce something that we call our B2b Blazer program. Are you ready? Here are a couple of different ways that you can work with us. We have training programs, and you're probably familiar with some of these training programs. We have the recipe, we have the pointy end, we have something called selling at scale, which is what we use to develop our signature method. We've got a great program called 16 VIPs in 6 weeks, which is about getting meetings. And we sell these programs for around 2,400 USD. Sometimes you might get a little bit of a discount, or there might be a special offer. Sometimes we bundle them together, but we usually sell them for 2,400 USD. And the reality is that they tick off the 4 things that you got to get right. So if you're to invest in all 4, you're talking about around $10,000, 10K. That's one way that you could work with us. Another option, and Will just said, is B2b Dash available as a standalone product? Well, here's what you can do. You can sign up for a whole bunch of different tools. That's one option. This one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that one, this one, that one, as I ran through before, and you could create some sort of Frankenfunnel. And you're going to end up spending somewhere between $400 and $700. B2b Dash, the complete set, you can get for $359 per month USD. And it does all the different things that we're talking about. But you know what, guys and gals, what if I could give you access to all our training programs? Because systems equals sanity. What if I could do that? What if I could give you access to a community of baller, totally amazing, passionate and proactive B2B business owners? And you've experienced that a little bit today, because community equals clarity. That's what that says on the screen in the middle, clarity. What if I could give you the tech piece as well? Automation equals freedom, community equals clarity, systems equals sanity. What if I could give you that for one small investment? Are you ready? $300 a month. I honestly don't know where else you can get that. I honestly don't know where else you can get that. I know that you could go to consultants and spend $30,000. I know that you can sign up for multiple tools to create a Frankenfunnel. I know that you can go to consultants and spend $10,000 to help them create a Frankenfunnel for you. But I don't know any other places where you can get automation, community, and systems. So to dive a little bit deeper, when I talk about the school is really about all the different stages in the funnel. Tofu, Mofu, Bofu. And I asked you before, where do you think you need to prioritize at the very beginning? I said to you, where do you think you need to prioritize? Some people said tofu, some people said Mofu, some people said Bofu. And if that's you, I will probably say this is something that you need to do. So for example, if it's tofu, I'm going to say you probably need to be across this thing called the recipe. If it's Bofu, I might say you need to be across the pointy end. And that is because sales in B2B, success in B2B, does not come from just doing one thing and expecting explosive growth. B2B sales and marketing is a deep, deep well. And you need patience. You need to be able to tick off one box at a time. When I talk about B2B Dash, once again, I talk about all those tools. I'm going to get myself the calendar. I'm going to get the booking piece. I'm going to get myself the email piece. I'm going to get myself the CRM piece. I'm going to get myself the Zapier piece. And you can pull it all together and create this massive Frankenfunnel. But you know what? We work with B2B business owners all day, every day. They're the only people that we work with, right? We don't care about everybody else. And we know what it is that you need. We work with wonderful people like Louise, who says, last week I got 5 leads from people who opted in to get my lead magnet using my Dash lander. And I knew that I didn't need to do a thing because my email sequence is automated in Dash. We built this out for people exactly like you. What about this community piece? You know, it's really difficult for me to even put a price on this. It's priceless. It's one of those things that you don't know how valuable it is till it's part of it. I know that there's lots of businesses out there that say we offer full support, right? That's BS. We offer support too, but that's not our goal. Our goal is to leave you feeling supported. And that's the way we train up our staff. It's not about you're giving support. It's does this person feel supported? We don't always get it right, but that is our goal. And we can support you here, now, over the longer term. So that there is something called our B2B Blazer program. And what I want to do right now is I want to introduce something that is a little bit new. And it is called our Blazer Triple Sprint program. What? The Blazer Triple Sprint. Now, at this point in time, you might be looking at what we've just talked about and gone technology, community, training, all for that one low investment. And I quite deliberately use the word investment because it's designed to make you money and or save you money, right? But I'm actually going to sweeten the deal a little bit. This is something called our Triple Sprint. Are you ready? Over the next 6 months, if you're willing to sign up now as a Blazer or migrate across to become a Blazer, we're going to do 3 very powerful things together. It's our 6-month triple sprint. One thing that we're going to do, well, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to sit down with you and get to know you a little bit better. So one of the bonuses is a focus call with my business partner, John Iglesias. Now, the focus call, what you do is you'll map your funnel, you'll break down all the ingredients. John will get to know you a little bit better, and then he will turn around and he will give you focus. And he might say, do you know what you need to focus on right now? Your offer. Because your offer stinks and it's confusing and nobody knows what it is that you sell, and that's the problem that you have. Or he might turn around and say, you know what you need to fix? Leads. You need to fix leads because you're not getting enough leads at the top of the funnel. He might turn around and say something else. But what I'm talking about here is 2 areas to focus your attention over the next 6 months. Now, if you've just recently signed up for something like 16 VIPs, that would be one of your focus areas, plus an additional thing. Focus. The other cool thing about this is that we are going to give you 3 private sessions to set up the technology. Once again, I don't know anyone that's doing anything like this. When you sign up for a new tech tool, I got to say, it's a pain in the bum. It really is. It's a pain in the bum when you sign up for new tech tool. There's this whole learning curve, right? But however, you need the technology. You can't get by without the technology. So when you sign up, we want to give you a focus call so we can give you focus. And we know where you should be focusing your attention. But we also want to give you 3 tech setup calls, 3 private tech setup calls, just you and one of our team, so we can get you the basics right. Make sure that you set up your lead capture gateway, maybe your booking form. Make sure that you start to set up some of those sequences and do what you need to really amplify it. Once again, I don't know where that's available. What's the investment for the B2b Blazer triple sprint? Are you ready? What's the investment? Even though I've just stacked it up with all this additional value, it's no different. It's $300 USD a month. The difference is we have a 6-month commitment. And that is because we want to work with you. We're going to invest a bunch of time with you. And we know that if you're serious about your business, it's probably going to take a little bit of time. Plus, as I said at the very beginning of our time together, we have a bunch of cool things coming up. We have a build-a-thon coming up. What's a build-a-thon? It's a 3-day event where we build funnels together. How cool is that? 3 half days, 4 hours, 4 hours, 4 hours. We build funnels together. How exciting. We have a sales accelerator together. What's that about? That's teaching you how to get better at sales. How wild. We're also putting together a leads challenge, which I'm not going to talk about right now. When does this triple sprint offer expire? Today, midnight, 17th August in Australia, which means that there's 12 hours if you're in Australia. And it is indeed, 12 hours if you're in Australia. If you're in the US, I'll make it 12 hour. Tim's got a question. Blaze member here. How do we join this calendar events? We join you, right? What I will say, Tim, is that you can get to our calendars. You go to b2b-io/the word calendar, and you will see our most up-to-date calendar. And then, of course, we enroll you. Ace, says Tim. That is absolutely awesome. All right, well, that's it, guys and gals. If you're interested in becoming a b2b-io Blazer, just head to b2b-io/let's blaze. There is one more little benefit, one little bit more element that I want to talk about. And that is if you're brand new to our world, oh dear, it comes with a 30-day MBG, money back guarantee. If you're already part of our world and you want to migrate from one program to another program, you don't get that. And that is because the purpose of money back guarantee is to make sure that we're the right fit, so that you can get an idea that we actually give a shit. And if you're already part of our world, you've figured that out, all right? So that's what that's about, which means that if you are thinking about becoming a Blazer, I'm going to totally de-risk this for you, right? You sign up to become a Blazer, you go to that link, you complete the online form, you follow the process, you book your focus call with John. Maybe you've got a business partner that you need to get involved. So there's you, you're totally enthused. You got the business partner who's not sure. Join on that call with John. And then at the end of that, you can decide whether you want to stick around or not. I'm totally de-risking it for you. Worst case scenario, you get to be part of our community. You get to access some amazing training materials, and that's the way it works. Cool. If you're already part of our world and you're trying to work out whether this migration would be a wise thing for you, just reach out and we'll let you know. We'll say, so for example, was it Sean the other day? You said, I want to be a Blazer. And then you said, but I don't want to do it this week. You're going to do it next week. All sorts of different ways to do things. Cool. Just reply to an email or any of those things. Timothy just said, it's a wise move. Yes. Yeah, great. Reply to any of our emails. I think John's probably going to hit you up now if you want to know. All right, cool. We'll answer some of those questions. So for example, Gree says, how does it work when you're already on 16 VIPs? We'll respond to that question for you, Gree, a little bit privately. And we can do that because a lot of people that are not on 16 VIPs don't care. And we've only got a limited amount of time. So we've only got 10 minutes left. This, guys and gals, is the Ask Me Anything piece. Ask Me Anything piece. Guess what? If you are still here, you get the sticky bonus. Woohoo! We'll send that to you via email sometime in the next 12 to 24 hours. If you're already part of our world, you get access to everything anyway. You just need to ask for what you want in our Facebook group, and we get it to you. That's all cool. So I could ask this question again. Share your aha moments. What will you teach others? What will you do implement? Or I could say stuck. What are the bits that you're not sure of or you want to know a little bit about? All right, Rachel's got a technology question. I am already set up with Infusionsoft Keep. Can it integrate with that? Rachel, I also have a legacy account with Infusionsoft/Keep, and I use Zapier to join the two. That's the way that I do that. I do it reluctantly, but it's because I had so much going on Keep that it was the only way to do it. But over time, I've just been moving stuff across to Dash. My Keep account has been getting cheaper. My Dash account has been getting fatter, and I've been getting a lot more from it that way. And it's worthwhile doing it, Rachel, right? You might be thinking, oh, well, I got the tech thing and I got the tech thing. I don't want to bang my own drum, right? Blow my own trumpet, but even just the B2 Blazer membership, just getting access to the training and the resources, right? Yeah, really, really cool. All right, let's have a look. Now, a little bit earlier, I said, what were your breakthroughs and big moments? And Sean said the template guide. How to identify and map out your team's individual strengths with a follow-up quiz on a free strengths quiz for teams. So Sean's already pulling together the language for what he's doing. Grease said, loved the signature method formula. So Grease said, what would you do if we were part of our world? Grease would probably encourage you as part of your 3-part sprint, 16 VIPs, maybe signature method, but I think we'd do intelligent offers because it's got that within it, and the tech piece. That's what we do for you, I think. Let's have a look. Mark pulled together his signature method, and he came up with 40 options, 40 different things. WD40. Let's have a look at this. Linda said persistence is important. Peter said, get started. Consistency was the message for Louise. That's what she learned out of it. All right, Laura said, definitely the content rhythms. All right, once again, if you've got any, questions, like, how do I boost the open rates of my emails? You got questions like that, just hit me up. I'm here to help you in every single way that I can. No question is too granular. No question is too silly. If anything came out of it, I'm here. I'm available, right? Anything like that. I said a couple times today, I mentioned the importance of patience. I want to highlight this. Every entrepreneur that I have ever met, every business owner is impatient. And in its own way, that is really good. It drives us and it moves us forward. But the reality is that if I wanted to, listen, this is what happens. If I wanted to get fit and healthy, right? If I wanted a body like a Hemsworth, right? I don't go to the gym and expect that I'm going to go and do a couple squats and I'm going to look like a Hemsworth, right? But for some reason, people think about this with business. Now, there are certain elements of the business that you can get on top of, and you can crush those elements of the business quickly, which is why the second ingredient is focus. Patience plus focus. So if I go back to my gym analogy, I could go to the gym with all the patience that I need and do nothing but calf curls. I don't know if that's a real thing. Is calf curls a real thing? And work entirely on my calves, and I'm still not going to end up looking like Chris Hemsworth, right? Even though I could go every day, 3 times a day, right? So the challenge that we need is we need focus and we need patience. But for patience to only work, we need to have the focus, which is why we've pulled together the triple sprint. so that you can become a triple threat. And you might look at that particular piece and you go, you know what I need to do? Over the next 6 months, I need to focus on leads and my offer and my tech. And we will give you the focus that you need. Do you know what's the opposite of patience and focus? And incidentally, you know how I said, we've totally de-risked it. Put down your $300, book the call with John. If it's not right, we'll send you on your merry way. We're vetting you as much as you're vetting us, right? And I got to say, some people are just not coachable. Some people are their own worst enemies. And sometimes we will have that call. Naomi had one the other day. Naomi, that was one of our clients, signed up for the recipe, went on to the pointy end. Now she works for us on a freelance basis. And is actually, I think we've moved her to part-time now, full-time soon. Having a great time working with Naomi. But someone jumped on the call with Naomi last Friday. And she basically had to tell this person that they weren't a fit. And this person was almost, telling them why they were the right fit. She was like, no, I don't think you're the right fit. One of the lessons of B2B sales and marketing, one of the lessons about learning, about running your own B2B business is that one bad, wrong fit is going to offset the value of like 4 good ones. So you don't want to have the wrong people entering your world. So when we invite you to go to Let's Blaze, b2b-io, Let's Blaze /Let's Blaze, there's a little quiz, you answer some questions, and then you'll put down your first payment, you book the call with John. On that call, you'll be deciding whether it's the right fit, and we'll be deciding whether it's the right fit, and that's because some people are uncoachable. So I said, what is the worst thing that we can see? The worst thing that we can see is someone who is impatient and has no focus. Now, unfortunately, this probably represents about 80% of B2B business owners that are running fast, getting nowhere fast, right? They're impatient with no focus. So people often say to me, how much time will this take? How much time will this take? And when I hear that, I think, people are like the hamster caught in the wheel. They're running, and they're never getting anywhere. And that's because they have no focus and they're impatient. Can we take a step back? Let's take a step back and embrace a principle that we call task-otainment. Just because task-otainment. When I say patient, I don't mean that things need to take ages. I just mean you need to be acknowledged that you have to put in a little bit of effort and you tick boxes and things add up. Task-otainment. When we can break down what it is that you need so that you get the focus and you get the little wins along the way, that triggers dopamine. Dopamine keeps you focused, keeps you motivated, creates momentum. Momentum creates more momentum and you get outcomes. Patience and focus. All right, Marcus just said, gotta go team, just do it. This school is the best thing I ever did for my business. 3 years on and I still subscribe because it's the best ROI of anything I've done for my business. And I learned the COI of not doing it. The COI of not doing it. P.S. I don't work for James, but I do love what these guys have done for my business. That includes more time with my family, and I now ride a Harley all because of B2B school. Have a cracker day team. All right. ROI stands for return on investment. The COI stands for the cost of inaction. So I am actually going to give you 3 options. I'm going to give you 3 options that you can take right now. All right. You can sign up for one of our training programs, by all means. Sign up for one of our training programs. These are around $2,400. You just tell us which one that you want to do. And it might be about leads. It might be about meetings. It might be about offers. That's one option you can take. Second option, I've made something really, really simple for you. And let's tackle 3 bits. What have I done here? Let's tackle 3 bits together. And let's do that for $300. And as I said, I de-risked it. Do you know what the third option is? The third option is to do nothing. And it's a real option. It's a valid option. It's a perfectly legitimate option. But if you do nothing, the reality is that you probably will remain without focus, and you'll probably remain caught in this conflict of being impatient and without having focus. Now, Marcus used the expression COI. That stands for cost of inaction. And the longer that we take splitting our attention across all the wrong things, I just got to say, the harder it is to get back on track, which means that I can talk about ROI. I can talk about, hey, we'll get you more leads. Hey, we'll help you get you more meetings. Hey, we'll focus on an offer. Let's think about that. What if you could just improve your offer? And instead of signing 1 in every 6 clients, you sign 1 in every 3. Make a massive ROI. Marcus now drives a Harley Davidson. I don't know what he used to drive. Tricycle. That's ROI. But the cost of inaction is the months, the weeks, the months, the years of lost opportunity just doing the same stuff again and again and again, getting nowhere fast. That is the cost of inaction. All right, guys and girls, I got to go. So we've reached the 2-hour point. Our weekly group mentoring calls don't usually last for this long. I try and keep our weekly group mentoring calls to 90 minutes. So if you are already a Blazer or you recently signed up for 16 VIPs and you get 2 months access to 2 months of group mentoring calls, next week we return to our normal formula, which is not me doing a song and a dance. We go back to discussing your wins. We go back to focusing on one small thing and going into it in a little bit more detail. We focus on bringing you into the hot seat, having conversations, supporting and training each other. Because when somebody becomes a B2B Blazer, that's right, we have weekly group mentoring calls, and we focus on marketing, followed by sales, followed by tech and scale. And that's what we do. And that's what we will be returning to next week. Once a month, we have an open day, and you got to experience what that's like right now, where we introduce new people to our world, deliver a masterclass, and introduce some themes that are going to infect everything else that we do for the following weeks and months. All right. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Gree. Thank you, Tim. All right, cool. Time to go. All right. Guys and girls who are already part of our world, I want to set you up for next week. Guys and girls that are already part of our world, I want you to come with some questions about email marketing. And I also want you to come with some questions about the delivery of my offer. The delivery of my offer. Because people who are already part of our world would have noticed that I applied something called our switch analysis framework by introducing a bunch of different comparables today. Something I haven't done for a while, but that's what I did. So you'll notice that I did that. All right. Thank you for the thank yous. It's time for me to go. Have a great day if you're in Australia. Have a great night if you're in North America. Where are you joining us from, Laurie? What's your time zone right now? Laurie was part of our world when I think she did the recipe. She's back in our world again doing 16 VIPs. Or maybe, Laurie, you became a Blazer recently. I'm not entirely sure. Laurie, it's 7 p.m. in your world. So, Laurie, go have a glass of wine. Have a nice meal, chill out. And that's great. Everyone else, have a great lunch. If you're in New Zealand, have a great afternoon. If you're in Asia or Western Australia, go out, get yourself a mid-morning cup of coffee.